Good morning, traders. This is Perry. Welcome to StartupTrading.com. It is 7 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, October 22nd. So looking back at yesterday's action real quick, just a straight down liquidation break for both the Russell and the Dow. But notice how the Dow stopped right at known support resistance. Uh, there more than likely was some here for the Russell too. It was just not anything I had marked. Uh, and then so that basically they just come back down into an area that will either that's the area you're going for now. So 43 122 for the Dow, and right down there at 2250 for the Russell. Looking at the Nasdaq and the ES, the Nasdaq was actually yesterday was neutral in my opinion, even though it did test below yesterday's low and come back down towards that overnight low in the midday. It did just basically spend 85% of its time yesterday in yesterday's value area or Friday's value area, while the ES right was weak because it spent probably only about 15% of the time inside of the value area from Friday. So if you look at all four of the indexes, only the Nasdaq really was neutral yesterday. The rest of them were pretty bearish, in my opinion. Uh, Looking at what that did to structure, the poor structure is on the Dow and the Russell, and then the do not caution with shorts. Uh, Above line for the Dow would be 43,446, and for the Russell it would be 2281 basically. Uh, Looking at what's on deck, and there's really no big news at all for the week as far as scheduled news. The biggest event for the entire week, in my opinion, is when we get down to Wednesday after the bell, Tesla. Other than that, there's lots of earnings. You get a bunch of companies coming out one way or another, a bunch of conference calls going one way or another. It could sway the market, but out of this week's earnings, in my opinion, only Tesla is the one that's really gonna be the outlier that by itself could have a large, an outsized move on the indexes. Looking at positioning real quick, the Qs traded yesterday at 495.42. We're currently trading 492.30, so we've dropped off $3, which would be 120 NQ points. And if we look at the NQ, it's down 130 and a quarter right now. So if we look at where this 492, 493 is, we can see that uh, for the week we're just kind of in the middle of the road. But uh, your your range for the week as it sits right now, before things get out of hand, is really 485 to 500. That's a pretty broad range, and we're basically right in the middle of it as we come into the bell this morning. Looking at just for today, you can see 495 would be uh, the wall that is above, and that is actually below yesterday's settlement for the Qs, right? That's about 20 points under the Qs. So if you look at where the NASDAQ settled, right now it's at down 130 points. The most you're probably going to get up to would be minus about 100 and probably 100 points. So you're gonna probably still be down at the high of the day today, unless things get out of hand. You're probably still gonna be down, 25, 30, 40 points is the closest you're gonna get to unchanged today. Uh, Now, keep in mind, I always say, that's what should happen. When what should happen doesn't happen, expect the opposite with equal magnitude and force. So, if that does not hold, like suppose somehow before the euro close we're above 495 and holding, then it's just probably onward up to 497 and 500. But you want to see that VIX dropping as that would happen. Otherwise, holding below there this morning, you're probably looking at getting a test of 490 at some point during the session today. And that's only 100 points down below where we are. That's going to be your first stop on the bus to the downside. And then there's really nothing keeping you from going, you know, almost 200 points lower on the NQ. Looking at the SPY real quick, the SPY closed yesterday at 583. We're trading 581. It's 583.63. We're trading uh, 580, 81. So down almost $3, $2.80, which would be 28 points. If we look up at the Dow or the ES, I'm sorry, we're down 30 basically. So right in line with where that. Keep in mind that the ETFs close at 4, right? The futures and the settlements not till around 4:15. It's kind of a goofy structure for the settlements anyway. So there's always slippage in there. Um, so as we, kind of look at today, you can see that this 580, basically right now the ES is at support that it's going to open on. That's going to make it, I think, a little bit easier read. I want to watch this 580 and this 578 for the ES. Below here, with a VIX rising, you could get in the diver down scenario. Uh, potentially that negative feedback loop and get some movement. Otherwise, this 20-point area should be support for the day, and we'll have to see, if we can even make any traction below 580. We're trading 588, 580.88, so about 9 points lower from where we are right now. So you're looking at 58. 77 is really, on the futures, on the ES, that's right around where this is going to line up with. And if we look at the cash market real quick, the cash closed at 58.84. And again, like I said, we are down 30. So, we would be opening up at 58.25. So, right in between these levels for the week, as you can see for today, another 25 down or another 25 up. That's your buffer. So again, we're right in the middle of, what should be an easy range to, go back and forth of. So basically, if you get on 50 points, and for some reason, if you're able to do that, and you don't get any buyers, you should get, or I'm sorry, if you don't get any follow through on the VIX climbing, right? If you don't get any buyers on the VIX, you're going to end up coming right back up there and maybe even going back up to this towards yesterday's close. And again, I think, while we could have that squeeze up there, unless it happens very early in the day, that's just where we could end the day. And it'd probably still be short. I would not be looking for the gap fill at this point in time. We've been screwing around up here. In this area, right? So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is we're testing the bottom of the range again right now. So the bottom of the range, this you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Today would be the seventh day, and the range, the bottom of the range on the futures is 58.48. We're trading 18 points above that right now, and then we could, just fill in this 3-day area from the uptrend again, but you can see we've kind of, died off up here. And if we, connect those lows, as I was pointing out last week, we're kind of, rolling over by time, not so much on, just a heavy move down, but the real magnet below would be getting towards this 57.88 half below. We'll see if we can get there. My guess is we'd fall short of getting there today, but would have to see. It is on the table because remember, when you have a liquidation break after being up here, that you usually get range expansions at a downside. So don't think that the range of these candles is going to predict how low we could actually get today, because you can get those, outsized moves. So maybe, whatever this range is when you calculate it, probably like 2.25 times that could be what the down move is on that range. And that would, just eyeballing it, that would probably take you down right around 20,000 on the NASDAQ, and that would probably take you uh, right around 57.75 and I would watch this 57.85 as well. That's your, that's your bear's wet dream in this point, right? If you can get under these lows, start building some forming one time framing down during the session and having it hold and continue with a rising VIX, this is really what you're looking at. So watch this 58.20 quarter, watch the 57.85, and then maybe you could get another 10 to 15 points below that on a very weak tape today. And we'll just have to see if that's in the cards. Right now, we're just at the bottom of the range, 40 points basically in the overnight session. As you can see, as we look left on the chart here, uh, you've got lows coming back into the session, coming back all the way into the beginning of last week. So, 7 sessions as I was counting them off for you earlier. Uh, watch these singles. That would be your target to the downside for just to fill in. So between 58.33 and 58.50 would be your area. Uh, and that's, not a whole lot down from where we are right now. Looking at all the indexes, uh, watch the Russell. If you're a player of the Russell, watch these signal prints here for the Russell that come in right at 22.25 to 22.30, and then this right around 22.20. Those are your lines in the sand. And as the Dow hit this 43.122 and you just ended on it there yesterday, notice how in the overnight it's shifted down to just above these signal prints. So those are going to be key. This overnight low, you could take that out, trade these signal prints, maybe all of them, maybe missing a few ticks. There's not too many of them left here. This would be your easy bogey for this morning to see how you think price is, but 42,940 to 42,947. As we look at that, if that doesn't hold, your next stop on the bus is right around this 42,883. And again, for the ES, you're looking here on these singles at uh, 58.40 to 58.45, and then 58.35 basically is the next one under. So right around 30 to 35. And then if that doesn't hold, right? So sometimes when we start falling, when we have this liquidation break, right? You fall into support, you sit there and you churn, you get a false move back up that doesn't last, and then you just roll down to the next level of support. So as Jack does his video this morning, I'm not saying this is going to be a bearish session, but you have to be open to the mind that it could be. So he's going to give you, different supports that he's looking at, different levels of supports. Think of those as 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of support that he might give you this morning, and think of them if we're going to be having that rising VIX and a liquidation break, that those are probably just going to get a dead cat bounce and or a stall on the way down if it's going to be very bearish, and then you're going to start going through one. It might take uh, 45, 50 minutes consolidation, maybe even an hour and 15 minutes, and then it's going to break and go to the next one. And then that is just going to rinse and repeat all day long. So it'd be, uh, no bid basically, or just a pause on those supports. So keep in mind, I'm not going to be eager to buy this morning. So I want to watch it prove itself. I want to watch that the VIX does not rise as we're, doing this, and I want to make sure that it's not that we're stalling on known support. It looks like it might be doing something, consolidating. I don't want to get fooled into that until I see it work. I'm going to assume today it's going to fail. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day, and we'll